This show is brought to you by Skylight Frames. Now, Skylight Frame is more than just a photo frame. It's a magical way to keep loved ones close, no matter the distance. With Skylight, you can share the joy of a special moment, a silly snapshot, or a treasured memory instantly, making it the perfect present for anyone who values connection and family. There's no better way than to connect with loved ones and put a smile on their face than sharing a special photo. Whether it's a glimpse of the kids being silly, a magical moment from vacation, or a sentimental memory from years past, Skylight Frame brings your favorite memories to life right in your home. You can share it with anybody, whether they're tech savvy or not. Share it with your parents and grandparents because it's a life changing new way to connect with family, especially those who are not keen on having smartphones or using them to the fullest potentials. It's a simple, user friendly design, makes it perfect for parents and grandparents. And with Skylight, they can enjoy the magic of seeing new photos appear instantly, making it easy to stay connected without the need for complicated technology. However, if you are on the tech savvy side, there is Skylight Plus, and you can get a little bit extra with that. The advanced features that it can offer and enhance the experience are something like doodles, where you can draw on a picture from the app and it appears directly on the loved one's Skylight Frame perfect picture. Or you can be able to do greeting cards, where you can choose from hundreds of designs and send an interactive card that appears on the frame, creating special moments for birthdays, holidays, or just because. And then it's also beloved by millions. Millions of families have fallen in love with their Skylight frames, with close to 2 million frames sold across 34 countries and over 675 million photos and videos shared. Skylight Frame is a tried and true way to stay connected with family and friends. This holiday season, give the gift that keeps on giving memories. Whether it's for grandparents who adore seeing the grandkids' latest antics or a friend who loves capturing every moment, the Skylight Frame is the perfect gift to bring joy and connection into any home. It's very effortless to set up and it's easy to share pictures. You don't need an app or a subscription required, and it's a quick single minute setup. It's designed for all ages, and it's simply plug in the frame and you're ready to start sharing your memories. It's got an intuitive touchscreen display, 10-inch color touchscreen that allows for easy interaction, can let you pinch, crop, zoom photos directly onto the frame, and you can create a personalized experience that way. There's a gift mode, which is the ultimate surprise. You can preload your favorite photos before you even gift the Skylight Frame. So when your loved one plugs in their new frames, they'll already be welcomed with some special memories off the bat. It's got seamless sharing, so you can even invite friends and family to join in on the fun. Photos can be shared easily via the free Skylight mobile app or email. You don't need an account or a subscription required for them, and it makes it simple for everybody to contribute. And you can stay connected even without Wi-Fi. The offline mode allows you to enjoy the existing photos without the need for a Wi-Fi connection. So if the internet goes out, the photos are still up, shining, creating wonderful moments in the household. It is better than social media. It's a more private way to share photos without posting them to the world or having to go out of your way to print hard copies. It's a top-rated brand because there's over 500,000 happy customers, thousands of five-star reviews, available in over 30 countries, and it's recommended by the likes of Today Show, Forbes, and New York Magazine, and much more. You can store thousands of photos. It looks beautiful in your home. It's got an HD resolution there, and you can choose from 5 different framing styles, and it's set it up in either portrait or landscape, and satisfaction guaranteed. We're confident that you'll love Skylight, and they offer a free 120-day return. For a limited time, get 20% off your purchase of a Skylight Frame when you go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's right. To get 20% off your Skylight Frame, just go to ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. That's ca.skylightframe.com/hockey. Welcome to the Blazing Pucks podcast.
Oh, shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Victor Manuel.
And I am your other host, Carmichael Manfredi. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to episode 68 of the Blazing Pucks podcast, the Canucks podcast you listen to when your kids are not around. Victor, how you doing, brother?
Oh, man, making some improvements, getting better step by step. And I'm seeing that there's some good improvements on the results for the boys as well. So that always
That's
brings me
right.
joy. How are you doing though, bro?
I am doing fantastic. I am absolutely amped up after the 2-0 win over the Boston Bruins.
Yeah.
Um, since 2011, it's still always nice to get a dub against the Bruins, especially a shutout in their own barn. It's their first loss with the new head coach that they got over there, I guess interim head coach. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's been we're getting some good results here in Canucks land from the last time we spoke. Right, last time we spoke was before the Rangers game.
Yes, exactly. It was because there was the Tuesday game that we were recorded just on the day of, and
That's
then they
right.
didn't play until Saturday. So it was a quite a long stretch. But yeah, dude, that Rangers game, the Senators game,
That's
and
right.
then the Bruins game. So, oh, dude, we got some good stuff to recap into here, man. Where do you want to start off with our listeners?
You know what? Why don't we start with the most recent game? It's fresh in our heads. What do you think?
Absolutely. I am all down for that because literally just got up from the couch not too long ago. We got straight into this. And man, what a gutsy victory. What a good fuck you victory too to the Boston Bruins.
That's kind of what it felt like. And it's in moments like this, when you got Miller out for the reasons that he's out, and
Mhm.
you get Besser back. Now, Besser he means so much to this lineup, man. It's nuts.
For sure.
Right. And I'm quite surprised he didn't go right up to with PD's line, but I also understand you don't want to mess, you don't fuck with the Colonel's recipe, right?
Exactly. Don't break it if it don't
Yeah,
fix it if it's not broken. That's what I'm saying.
exactly, right? So I understand where that's coming from as well too, but it wasn't the prettiest win, right? We can say it wasn't the prettiest win. But
Mhm.
I mean, when the boys they got 27 block shots to 10 block shots in the favor of the Canucks, man. Like this
Holy
is the
shit.
definition of by any means necessary get the dub, you know?
Without a doubt. And that's the thing. We've seen this before last season when we had a solid run. That not every game that we won was pretty. And just
That's
in
right.
general, good teams don't always win in the same fashion. Good teams find different ways to win no matter the circumstance of that game.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right,
And the
right?
Canucks were, I'd say, about an 80-20. You know what? No, I give them at least a little more to the Canucks. 70-30 split in the sense of who had the most pressure, Boston being the one pressuring us more
Totally.
often throughout the game than us.
100%. But then the Canucks also picked their chances and they were able to, which is exactly what Rick Tocchet was talking about, right? He wants them to be able to be aggressive and be able to pick their chances and intelligently know when it's time to go. All right.
Yeah,
Really,
absolutely.
right at the end of the third period there, I saw them take some great chances.
Oh, I know. PD, DeBrusque, even at the very last minute, they finally had put Brett Besser over Sherwood.
Yeah.
But that's exactly kind of the Tocchet hockey at its fundamental core, which is, stick with the structure, make the safe, simple, predictable plays to in alignment with the system.
Totally.
Box your dudes out and protect the guts of the ice. Be good on the forecheck. Your sticks need to be on the ice, and yeah, do whatever you can to support your goalie and get in front of the pucks and block them.
Yep.
And the Canucks tonight played that to a T, even when it looked very scrambly at times.
Yeah, exactly. I felt like you remember the Habs team in 09-10 with Yaroslav Halak?
Yes, I
Right?
do.
They kind of bought that the Canucks win tonight felt like that little run that the Habs had there, right? Like they had, and listen, we can't say enough about Lankin. He made some great saves,
Hmm.
right? He
Oh,
made some
without a doubt.
excellent saves. Yeah, and it looked scrambly, but I never felt like the Canucks didn't have control. Like there wasn't a plan. You know what I mean? I felt like they knew exactly what to do once they got the puck. Didn't seem like sloppy play to me tonight.
No, it was actually very tight defensively. And yeah, when I say scrambly, there was obviously moments where there's just heavy scrums, and it looks like the Bruins were able to have an opportunity to get a greaser and push one through. But just like you said, they actually played really well. They played tight defensively. It wasn't scrambly in the sense of sloppy. There was no sloppy play, not that I saw from my eye test watching the game.
Me too.
Mhm. And yeah, dude, I gotta say though, Lankinen for sure deserves all the love for holding the fort down. You know, he did things that obviously I wouldn't say are on the levels of Demko with his types of save, but he did what we're used to Demko doing, which is making the saves you need to make and more.
Exactly.
And that's what Lankinen did
Exactly.
tonight.
Well, I mean, Lankinen did it, and it was not very good for my blood pressure because he made the save, and it didn't look like he was gonna make the save. And then I'm like sitting there, and I got Ajita. I'm like, oh,
Dude,
he definitely made it. He kept us Canucks fans at the edge of our seat, that's for sure. But at the end of the day, you're right. He made the save that he needed to make, and then more. And then the Canucks were able to kind of dig out whatever rebound that he had. But his rebound control was excellent tonight, I felt like.
yeah, his rebound control, he seemed like he knew where the puck was always going to be and was able to read the plays and like position himself really well. When he had to make the sprawling, like desperation saves, like I know there was one, I don't know if it was the second or third period where like it was being pushed through and he fell behind his back and then he finds the puck, like covers it
Yes.
before the scrum. You know, there's the leg stretch in the third period, stretched out the right leg to save like a what looked like a surefire goal.
Well, I thought it was in for sure.
I mean, there was like 2-3 times where I'm like, fuck, they got the goal. Like, and it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah,
So
that's true. Actually, I run the same for me too.
yeah, dude. So no, bad blood pressure. I'm gonna go to Shoppers and put my arm in one of those fucking things
Yeah,
where it crushes
just
that.
to, just to check it out. Oh man, I feel like I need to do the same thing here, but I also feel like I need to single out one player in a good way. But I mean, I really liked Carson Soucy tonight. He was a
Mm,
menace in the corners. He was breaking up plays with his stick. He was being disruptive. A lot of shots didn't get on net because Soucy had the right stick placement.
yeah.
And he got back to that mean game. I really hope that he's able to string some games together because, like we talked about last week, the Canucks don't need like a first pairing, like a big kind of puck mover like a Cale Makar, which I mean, we would take him, but we need the
Mhm.
second pair to get going. That's what it is, right? We need a solid matchup pairing with Soucy on it. And looks like we're starting to get, he's stringing in a couple games together.
Now, I am happy to see Susie's game progress. And yeah, you are absolutely right. He was a menace tonight in the defensive zone. Getting back to the style of game that we saw from him last season, which is what
Exactly.
we need to not, I wouldn't necessarily say even be at our best, but we need that so we can be at our floor for the structure and gameplay that we want. Like you said, a solid second pair that knows how to handle the matchups and eat good minutes.
Exactly.
My thing here is because I didn't actually pay attention to this, so I'm not sure if you know this. Was Susie and Myers paired together?
No, they were not.
They were split.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that works, eh?
Who are the pairings then? Please,
It
like,
was I think it was Susie and Juleson.
Susie with Juleson today, eh?
I believe that's what it was. Yeah, and then it was
I'm gonna
Brandstrom
try to
Myers.
quickly search it up.
Which
I'm
Brandstrom too? Since we
definitely
brought him up, since you're while you're looking that up there, Brandstrom in the first period. I mean, he saved a surefire goal
Mhm.
with his I think it was like his left heel or something. He stuck it out. Man, he was an absolute menace in that first
Yes,
period.
he did. So
Right?
to get back and quickly confirm, yes,
Go ahead.
Carson Susie with Noah Juleson, Brandstrom with Myers.
Brandstrom with Myers, yeah. And I mean,
Okay.
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Me too, dude. You know what? I would say I was more questionable about the Brandstrom Myers because I feel like they both um are known to kind of have an offensive movement to each of their games respectfully. But
Yes.
they were able to hold the fort down. You mentioned the huge save with the left heel of Brandstrom. Dude, just in general, I'm baffled and sorry to just have a quick side note here, but I am
Oh
baffled
no,
that
please.
we are having these insane cheap pickups work out
I
so good
know.
for us.
It's fucked up,
Lankinen
dude.
being the obvious one, Sherwood being the next one, and fucking Brandstrom is the third one
I'd
because
even put Suter on there too.
yeah, Suter without a doubt. I would say Suter was probably the original first gamble of like a low
Yeah.
contract that's having a high value. Him and Bluger, but for the ones that we picked up just this offseason that I'm like referring to, Lankinen, Sherwood, and like Brandstrom. Brandstrom has been such a dope defender. Like he is surprisingly fitting in so well, and I feel like he's understanding the system more and more.
Yeah.
And through that, his game is shining more.
100%. One, because I mean, what was something that the Canucks were saying they needed another puck mover? Well, they got one in Brandstrom. Like that,
Yeah.
that's what he does best. And I to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying before about the Brandstrom and Myers pairing. I think that's going to be really interesting because I feel like Myers is at his best when he has a partner who is predictable. And
Mhm.
Brandstrom, I feel like, is not a predictable skate. Not to knock him by any means, but he likes to move the puck and get involved in the offensive zone. And I feel like if that's something that Myers can adapt to, fucking hallelujah, let's go. I don't care if it works, it works. But that's something that I'm definitely going to be watching. But it's found money that this Canucks front office is able to find. Hey,
Yeah, that is. I mean, I'm sure we've been like ringing this bell for quite some time, but this management is having a good eye to making great, cheap, affordable pickups, keeping us in the cap, like maneuvering through the cap crunch that we're dealing with. And yeah, dude, I'm really liking to see. I get what you mean. I don't know how long that suit Brandstrom Myers pairing is going to last, but as long as it's working and it's also helping Susie get back to his game, and it looks like Noah Juleson had a really pretty solid game as well too.
yeah,
At
yeah, I
least
like Jules tonight.
one that wasn't filled with that many mistakes.
Yeah,
This could be a good like decor to run with up until the trade deadline, and we see a better picture of who else is available on the blue line that we can bolster
yeah,
for
and I
that.
mean, who we can. I mean, assuming obviously that they've been accruing cap space this whole time. I mean, what cap space do they have available, and who's available, and who's like willing to let their players go for futures, right? Because that's going to be a big thing. Like they were talking about a Bowen Byram trade to Vancouver, but the Sabres aren't looking for draft picks anymore. They want young players or ready-made players at this moment. And I feel
Mhm.
like there's a lot of the teams in the basement that are at that point now. Like even where they're talking about Mike Matheson. I don't think the Habs are going to take draft picks anymore, right? So it's going to be it's going to be interesting to watch. I think this D pairing is definitely going to be able to take us into the trade deadline, but they have to make some steps forward still, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's a lot when it comes to our D and needing to take steps forward. And I definitely see that happening pretty shortly. And speaking of step forward, it is a perfect time to step forward into another ad read from our sponsors, DraftKings, here, because the 2024-25 NHL season has that new car smell, and the action has been heating up at DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first timers to get started at DraftKings Sportsbook. You can try betting on something simple like picking a team to win, or aka betting on the money line. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up because new customers bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Ready? Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill and Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive a reward. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice. Copyright NHL 2024. All rights reserved. Boom. And let's get right into the mix of recapping now. I think we touch a good amount on, the highlights from the Boston game. I want to talk a bit about the Sens game because that was eventful.
Very eventful. Very, very eventful. First of all, and I mean, not taking anything away from the situation, we lose Quinn Hughes with 12 minutes left in the first period. Already missing Besser, already missing Miller, already missing Demko. Now you're going down to 5D.
Yeah,
which is rough, absolutely. But my fuck, if that PD line did not absolutely destroy that game, hey? Like, absolutely came up clutch. And this, that game specifically, I feel like it has the ability to be a huge rallying point for the boys. Like, we may be looking at that game in a few months from now and being like, that was a turning point for the Canucks this year.
Yeah, honestly, that was a really gutsy performance where with so much adversity and so much, like, we literally only had one of the 5 core all-stars playing that game in Pettersson.
Exactly.
And he stepped up to the plate. That line stepped up to the plate. Just in general, I like how the team rallies around adversity. Now, I've been banging this drum for a bit too, for the listeners that know. I feel like this team plays better when either they have something to prove or they have an adversity that they need to face and get round up together. Losing your captain 5 minutes into the first period over some bullshit fucking call, which I get it by the books. A cut is considered an injury, an injured player from boarding. It's a game misconduct on it. It's an automatic, whatever.
Yeah, it's the way that they because they called a major, their hands were tied after when they looked at it. So they, by the book, it made sense. Just don't like the rule. Totally get it.
Yeah, don't like the rule, and everybody knows it was a weak call. But that moment of adversity, I think the boys literally took a fucking shot. Kiefer Sherwood fucks.
I mean, dude, we knew that because his first name was Kiefer.
Literally, that man goes to Kensington Plaza fucking ice rink, hangs out there and fucks the puck buddy moms
without
before
a doubt.
He fucking comes to a game, and
at the same time,
and then 10 hits.
to go with the 10 hits that he got earlier in the day.
That's his fucking juice right there, man. That's his juice.
Oh man, yeah, that's his pregame ritual.
Plaza or Scotia Barn puck bunny mom.
Just banging in a minivan before the fucking game.
Literally,
classic Volkswagen. Bro, for that one, he has to go to the Arbutus Hockey Club. You remember that whole thing that went on?
Oh my gosh, that is right.
Yeah, he's not going to Kensington, bro. He's going to Arbutus.
No,
that's
he's
for
going
sure.
To Arbutus. He's going to the high-class royalty ticket of fucking puck bunnies in the parking lot.
Oh, dude, 100%, man. He wants to go to the place where, the kids are practicing 2-on-1s on the ice, and then the parents are practicing 2-on-1s in the minivan. Right? That's the place where he wants to go. But anyway, before we go into a much further place, let's bring our attention back to the Ottawa Senators game here. Yes, Kiefer Sherwood does fuck. Really happy to see DeBrusk getting back on the board too. That's 4 or 5 road games in a row that he scored now?
I believe so. And I mean, just in general, he's on a goal streak. So
yeah. Then that once again, we knew this about DeBrusk. He's streaky, right? 2 last game. That one game that he got, I think he got the feed from Sherwood there where he put it to his backhand and
Yes.
but
Yeah,
his
that
old
was
buddy Linus Allmark, he put his fucking Mutandi on top of the net there, and then it was beautiful.
mhm.
It was great. I really it was funny to see how frustrated Brady Tkachuk got. Like he literally, like I know I've mentioned on the show in our earlier episodes, how he reminds me of Bam Bam from Flintstones. Like if he grew up, right? And
Yeah,
he really just showed it. You know, he was going around just trying to fuck anybody up, right?
dude. He took hockey fights cancer literally by fighting a cancer.
Yo, yo, straight.
So I love you, Dakota Joshua. You're a fucking warrior. You're a beast. You have the love and admiration of this entire fan base, myself
I
being
did not
included.
even put that together.
But
Fuck.
fucking like, geez, man. You know what though? To bring it back to the solid point of it, you're right, man. I feel like we made the Ottawa Senators take a look at their captain and question him if he was really ready for captaincy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he really does not know how to control his emotions. I get it. You need those players that are ready to like take the charge, start some shit up when your team is down, and fucking get into the mix. Let alone that a type of player like that, which are usually third, fourth line gooners, is your star
Exactly.
player, right? It's incredible. But as a captain, as someone who is leading like a team through a charge, right? That um performance that the emotions that we brought out of Brady Tkachuk that game really got to a point that made him put himself on the hot seat of being like, is he ready for captaincy kind of thing? Or can he
Totally.
handle it anymore?
Well, and that was the thing too. I think that's what really handicapped, right? And I know Travis Green came out and tried to defend him and defend his fight at the end there, basically by saying like, yeah, like that might have been what pumped us up, but that might be the truth. But at the end of the day, like you didn't have your all-star captain out there on the ice when you needed him the most.
Yeah, because they did make it interesting. It was
They did
4-1 for most of it up until what? Well, yeah,
exactly.
after he got ejected.
Exactly. But I mean, you think about it, like no 5-on-5 goals the Canucks allowed. That's 2 games in a row on the road. They haven't allowed a 5-on-5 goal now.
We are
Right?
fucking road warriors, dude.
And that's exactly right. The Road Warrior Canucks indeed, my friend. Um but yeah, that Senators game kind of I got out of hand near the end. If I'm a Sens fan or if I'm the Senators, I'm fucking embarrassed because that team was bare. That was basically the Abbotsford Canucks that was playing that night. And
Yeah,
one thing, actually, hold on, I want to touch on before we go into the next ad reads here. Max Sasson, when he
I knew
got
it.
that, is that what you were gonna say?
I knew we had to bring him up, dude.
All right, perfect. Take your head, shove it up your ass. Um, dude, seeing his dad absolutely lose his shit like Paul Maurice in the 2023 finals.
Mhm.
Oh, it was so good.
Dude,
Like that was such a touching moment.
absolutely. And if you know what, man, I'm honestly a bit gutted today that he was the forward that had to sit out for
I know.
Besser. But yeah, not only did he have such a heartwarming moment, and you get fired up seeing a dad get fired up for his son's first NHL point in front of him. But Max Sass, it's supposedly Sasson. I know
Yeah,
I heard it
it's
earlier on how
Sasson.
Comfort Up. It's just Max Sasson, but people were saying Sasson, and I thought the
Yeah,
same.
yeah. I think Halford and Bruff still say Sasson.
Yeah, something like that. But Max Sasson, man, he I feel like he's going to be a really solid and formidable bottom six guy for us for a long term because he can move the puck. He's shifty. That was one thing
Yeah,
I noticed in his game. He was very shifty. Um, he was good to go into the battles, wasn't afraid, and he wasn't out of place. Like he didn't look lost at all positionally
not
at
at all.
all.
Not at all. I completely agree with having him up there as opposed to Lecker because if you're not going to put Lecker in a top six role, you're not putting him in a position to succeed. That was a
Mhm.
good role for Max Sasson. I completely agree with what you said. I think he's going to be a really, really strong bottom six player for us, most likely on the fourth line, but a good guy that you can depend on. Somebody that you can really depend on to take draws. And,
And some-
sometimes they can surprise you. right? Players like that. And speaking of surprise, you may be surprised by our next ad read here. That is Raycon. Guys, you know what the most exciting thing about a Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal is that you get a deal that you wouldn't already normally get, except with Raycon. Because with Raycon, you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year. But that doesn't mean they're not having any sales for Black Friday or Cyber Monday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% site-wide. A Black Friday, Cyber Monday deal you'll appreciate every day. Raycon's everyday earbuds, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. For example, they now have 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once. Holy shit. Raycon's everyday earbuds also come with active noise cancellation, which is perfect if you want to ignore people like me. It's a feature that's a must-have for me on long flights and on my days of work. Wouldn't be able to get through without my earbuds, but one that can be difficult to find at an accessible price point until now, because these guys are normally fucking pricey. Because that's another thing. Although Raycon's quality rivals some of the biggest names in premium audio, Raycon started just half the price as the other guys. So they're already an incredible deal, even before you factor in the Black Friday, Cyber Monday offer of up to 30% off site-wide. Raycon's everyday earbuds are also available in a variety of vibrant colors, so you do not have to just have the standard issue white or black earbuds sticking out of your ears. Or maybe you want magenta. Guys, it's coming up. We're going to do it. We're going to have to get something. We're going to have to get Victor magenta earbuds now. But now's the perfect time to scoop them up if you haven't already. And don't worry, if you're not as impressed as I am, Raycon offers a 30-day happiness guarantee, so you really can't lose. It's time to save big for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right. You'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's website when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN. Oh, all right. Ad read number 1 is done. Now we're going to go over to our friends over at Game Time.
Woo!
Game time, game time. Guys, what's the most exciting part about the hockey season starting is the fact that you could go to a game and feel the nice chill of the ice and hearing the puck leave the player's stick and puck hitting the ice as well. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks picks up the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. So, bringing up, we got WWE Survivor Series coming here on this Friday coming up. The best deal, all-in price, $90 lower bowl seats. That looks like a fucking great event, guys. We also got the Blue Jackets coming into town on Friday. Sorry, forgive me. The Survivor Series is coming in on Saturday. Never mind. We've got the Canucks first home game on December 6th against the Blue Jackets as well. So, what are my favorite parts about Game Time? Well, obviously Game Time Picks, like I mentioned before. The all-in pricing feature. Toggling this shows you the upfront price with no surprise fees at checkout. You also can see what your view of the seat looks like with seat views. Get a panoramic view from your seat in the app before you buy. You get the lowest ticket price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference in Game Time ticket coverage. Your purchase is covered with the most flexible customer service policy in the ticketing industry. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time Picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Woo.
Game time, baby.
And it is game time up in this bitch too. Victor, what do you say we end off the show when we talk about that Rangers game, the last Canucks loss?
Yes, why not? Let's talk about it, though I want to forget about it.
Yes. Although, you know what? I wasn't really all that upset with their effort that night for sure. I mean, like, you have to imagine you're losing the emotional heartbeat of your team. You find out that morning. That's got to be deflating. It's so easy to call in sick.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To rein it in. But they didn't, man. I thought they rallied and they made New York work for it. They just, like Tocchet said, they made one more play at a crucial time.
Yeah, absolutely. There wasn't a bad effort, which is nice. Unfortunately, if we try to pull like the stinkers at home of against New Jersey, I forgot the other team already of who we had that stinker in front.
Edmonton, we
Islanders.
had it. Islanders,
Edmonton.
Edmonton.
Fuck. Okay.
That
Yeah.
one hurt. That one hurt the most.
Yeah, I know it did big time. And you know, the thing for me is that yeah, the effort is nice. You're right. It's hard to get mad at the boys for that loss, but just in general, I feel like we could have had that game.
Yeah.
Again, it was pretty back and forth. Uh, PD. I think that was the first experimentation of the PD DeBrusque and Sherwood line, right?
I don't
Or
think it was the first one. No.
no?
That one they were playing before, and then basically the whole first line exploded when
Yeah,
Miller and Besser went out. They just put Suter back in the dot there. But yeah, I thought they looked great. Obviously, PD continued to look great. That's when Carson Soucy started to look a lot better as well too. But unlucky plays too. Like there was that one play that Will Cooley scored, and I think it was originally a pass intended for Capo Caco. It went off his skate or his stick or something, and it bounced perfect or it deflected perfectly over to Cooley, and he was just kind of cheating into the middle, so he got fucked on that play. And then there was another one that I think it was just bounced off of Soucy's skate.
Yeah, I think I remember what that one that you're talking about. I think it was at the second or third. I can't remember fully, but yeah, I know which one going off Susie's skate. That one, you're right. We had really shitty puck luck, and sometimes there's going to be games like that. But yeah, that one for sure, we got bent over and shafted with the end of a broomstick when it comes to luck.
Totally right. And I mean, it's shitty that that's how it ended there. But what happened right after that? The Canucks rallied and they picked up a win in Ottawa, right? Which, I mean, big whoop. Yeah, it's the Sens. You beat the Sens. But you still beat the Sens, and you were down a defenseman, and not only a defenseman, but the Norris Trophy winner from last year, and also your captain, not to mention, while also losing the emotional heartbeat of your team. So, you're embarrassed if you're Ottawa, but the Canucks came through and rallied. They also picked up this win, getting Besser back in the lineup, which is fantastic. A lot of what I'm reading, and I mean, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to get my hopes up, but there's a lot of people that are expecting Miller to be back after the road trip.
Yep.
Right? There's a lot of things that I'm reading. If that is the case, it's great to see Besser get in now so that, hopefully he's ready to rock by the time Miller's back. And then, they can really catapult this team, especially if they get Demko back too.
Yeah, and I remember even hearing that Demko, they expect him to potentially get in before the end of the road trip, like at the tail end of it, which is pretty much soon because we have 2 more games left on this road trip.
I think it was a 6-gamer.
Is it?
They don't come back until their first home game. I was just talking about it on the Game Time.
Let me take a look. You are correct. Yes.
Yeah, December 6th.
Yeah, they got 4 more. So, yeah, they could see him come in for either if the speculation of Demko being able to come in before the end of the road trip, that means he'll either get the Red Wings game or the Minnesota Wild game. Unless they want to throw him against the Penguins or Sabres, which would be, on paper at least, easier teams to face.
100%, right? And especially if it's that Penguins team, because that's the second half of a back-to-back as well.
That's tomorrow. Shit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't think he'll play that game personally, but
no,
I think they have another back-to-back on this road trip, don't they?
I think they have 2. Let me double check here real quick.
Because that's something that I could see happening, like on the second half of a back-to-back, maybe get him in there.
This is their only back-to-back for this one because they play tomorrow, and then they don't play until Friday, Sunday, Tuesday.
Okay, so Artie's going in tomorrow then, for sure then.
Yeah, of course. And, speaking of Seelovs, as we were talking about the Rangers game, Seelovs was the one in net for that. And while I know he got beat clean on that final game-winning goal against Kreider, he didn't look bad. And,
no, he didn't.
I'm always down to cheer for the Artie party. I want to
Yeah,
see
same.
him overall do good, even if he's not being the better goaltender we want him to. Like, I don't care if he's the better goaltender right now, but I want to see him, get confident and feel like he is making progress in his game because he does have a lot of potential, and I like the ceiling for Sealov.
I do too. And I think the way the Canucks have handled him lately, I know they've definitely ridden Kevin Lankinen. There's no doubt about it, right? We can all see it. But the truth is that now I think he's starting to slowly earn the trust of the team back. I agree with you. That definitely wasn't the reason why they lost that game. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Against the
as compared
Rangers.
to his other performances.
Exactly, right? Like, you look back to the first game of the season against the Flames, like, yeah, I can pin a lot of that on Artie, which
Yeah.
I hate to say, but it is the truth. Whereas
No.
now he's definitely tightened his game up a lot. And I think the more it's the same thing that we've been saying about Lekker about Baines, about Ratu, Max Sasson too. Is that you play a bunch of games, right? You have your cup of coffee, and in Seeloff's case, he got a lot more than a cup of coffee, that's for sure. But then you go back to the AHL and you know exactly what you need to work on, and you can refine your game and then bring yourself back up. So who knows, right? I think getting Artie as much exposure as possible tomorrow will be a good game for him to get in. Hopefully they can pull out the dub because it is the Penguins.
It's true. I would hate to see us lose against the Penguins, given with where the Penguins are at as a team right now. Like, gosh, that's a dumpster fire. That's a dumpster fire for sure.
Yes, that
But
that is a very big dumpster fire.
it is us being on a back-to-back on the road. There are essence of trap game being able
Yes.
to get pulled into it, especially how bad Pittsburgh wants to win in front of their fans. How bad maybe Sidney Crosby wants to rally and get a win. I don't know. It's almost feels like that team is teetering, given that Sid is there for 3 more years at the obviously not like realistically dirt cheap, but for his value and who he is, dirt cheap.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's hating the losing
Yeah.
environment there. He hates it. As the winner who he is, he hates it. What he's gonna try to do to rally either this team, I don't know, man. It would just hurt to see us lose against the Penguins, and it also hurts to see the Penguins be like this.
Yeah, it's a really weird tightrope to watch because I'm right with you. I mean, we grew up in the era of Sidney Crosby, one of my favorite all-time players. Going to go down as one of the all-time greats.
Without a doubt.
And the funny thing about the Penguins here, and I know this we're kind of getting off track here before we wrap the show up, but I heard a really good point. I can't remember where it was, but apparently Kyle Dubas seems to think that he can quickly, retool this team and get them back to a playoff team. It's like, okay, well, if that's your plan now, what the fuck have you been doing for the last 2 off seasons? Like, what have you been trying to do?
Dude, seriously, that Carlson deal alone should be a reason why I don't trust this motherfucker with rebuilding on the fly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
But yeah,
right.
You're right.
Well, even him saying it's going to be, I'm going to be working in Toronto or not working at all. And then he fucking goes over to Pittsburgh, a couple days later. It's the same shit. I mean, I know these guys are, they're hockey politicians, if you think about it, right? You can't really trust what they have to say a lot of the times.
Yep, they got a fucking nice curved CCM blade and they use it to get pegged on the free time.
Well, that was a great image that I got from that. Fuck you for that. Fucking. With that being said, guys, what do you say we wrap the show up here?
That's a good note to end the show on. Oh, geez. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning into episode 68 of the Blazing Pucks with your two BC buds here. Carm, let our listeners know what they can do if they enjoyed today's episode.
If you enjoyed today's episode, guys, please let us know on Twitter, on TikTok, on Instagram at the Blazing Pucks. Hit the subscribe button and make sure that you get downloads every time we release an episode so you don't miss them, and it helps the boys out. Victor, what can they do if they really like the podcast?
Well, if you really like the podcast, you're going to get a sticky note out and you're going to place it on your wall. That sticky note will contain that live streams every Tuesday and Spotify, Apple, YouTube every Thursday, where you'll hear your two BC buds. And then you're going to go on Spotify and you're going to 5-star the fuck out of us. You're going to go on Apple. You're going to 5-star the fuck out of us.
That's
all
right.
And if you don't, I'll find you.
Do what Kyle Dubas does.
Yeah, I'll give you the Dubas treatment with the CCM stick from his house. No, but for real, and tune in every Thursday on Spotify. As Car mentioned, the auto downloads. Follow us on social media. We'd love to keep connecting with our fans, and we appreciate you tuning in every single week to the Blazing Pucks podcast, the Canucks podcast you listen to when your kids are not around. And on that note, Carm, in Blazing Pucks fashion,
much love,
and go fuck yourself.